guys, it's Amy Lee with Work Hard Eat Kind, and today we are going to be updating you. It's been 2 years since I got Rocky Mountain spotted fever and was diagnosed with an alpha-gal allergy. I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody who has asked questions. I actually went to Instagram and I told you to ask me anything. Now, some of the questions are more regarding veganism because that's how I try to approach my journey with alpha-gal and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. I do still get a lot of views and a lot of questions on the videos that I did when I first got diagnosed. Over the last 2 years of dealing with this, I've had my ups, my downs, I've done plenty of research, and I feel like I've become a wealth of knowledge about this. So thank you to everybody who asked questions, and thank you to everybody who has reached out to me. I've had a few people with me using the hashtag alpha-gal on Instagram that have reached out to me and asked me about my experiences, and I'm always glad. If anybody sees this and needs somebody to reach out to, if you think you may or may not have it, if you have questions or family members and you just want to understand, you're more than welcome to reach out to me on any social media platform. For those of you who don't know, I was actually diagnosed with Rocky Mountain spotted fever in 2016. I had a tick bite from the Lone Star tick. I will put that scary little monster right here. And I started feeling a little under the weather, but I didn't really necessarily know what was wrong. It was kind of like flu symptoms where I was just feeling a little down. My appetite was fluctuating. It wasn't anything monumental. It wasn't something scary. I didn't almost die. I was not feeling my best. And I happened to think that maybe my thyroid was being a little low. And I was like, well, what can mimic hypothyroid symptoms? Lyme disease. Like, I've heard that from a fellow blogger that has Lyme disease. So I went to the doctor and I had a full tick-borne illness panel run, and it came back as positive for Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Now, not everybody who gets Rocky Mountain spotted fever ends up with alpha-gal, and not everybody who gets bitten by a Lone Star tick gets alpha-gal or Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And even on top of that, not everybody who gets Rocky Mountain spotted fever it just gets flu symptoms. There are some people that have such severe reactions that they can possibly die. If you've watched my video about having a meat allergy, I was a little ranty in that video because I was a little heated because a lot of other people in various communities have liked to tout this as the karma bug, and I can't seem to go more than a few days without seeing the article saying that a tick bite can make you allergic to meat. There's so many things wrong with those articles, and I used to feel obligated to say that's not even what this is, and that this is a lot more serious than karma, because the 2 weeks that I went on doxycycline to cure this was hell. I was more sick then than before I was diagnosed and put on that medicine. There's also severe consequences that I found since then. Every time that I take antibiotics, I have a Herxheimer reaction. And that's where the bacteria is attacked, it dies off, it releases toxins into your system. And so yes, you're taking antibiotics to cure that infection, but you're getting more sick because the bacteria is releasing toxins into your bloodstream. So I basically avoid antibiotics like it's a plague. There's only a couple times that I have had to do that, and those were double ear infections and strep. Those are ones that you really can't mess with. Ear infections are so close to the blood-brain barrier, you don't want to mess with that. And then strep, I don't know any other way to cure strep. With the alpha-gal, I'm basically allergic to mammalian meat. A lot of people want to tout it as you're allergic to all meat, but here's the thing. You don't have to go vegan because of it. You can actually eat any poultry, seafood, and I speculate reptile, but I've never had the opportunity to try that, nor I'm not sure that I would. I've also seen my tolerance for dairy basically disappear. I used to have that German heritage that I could eat tons of cheese, especially like raw cheese, and back in my paleo days, like, I loved it, and I had no problems reintroducing dairy after a small elimination period. But ever since getting Alpha Gal, I can eat a little bit of cheese on a sandwich or in a salad. I'm not that fussy. And honestly, we don't have a lot of very vegan conscious people in the area. So if somebody accidentally puts the wrong cheese on my sandwich, I'm not going to have them waste that food. And that's just me. So I can tolerate a little bit of cheese. Tiny, tiny bit. Spaced far apart. But the one thing that I've learned is that the carbohydrate that you're allergic to with alpha gal is called alpha galactose. Well, dairy products actually break down into a different carbohydrate called galactose. Sound familiar? They're so closely related that you can definitely have a reaction to both, except for that the galactose is a smaller molecule and you're less likely to have such a severe reaction to it. Unless you just down like 12 cheese sticks. Trust me, I only made that mistake once. So now to get to your questions, I'm very excited and thank you again for asking these questions. I am going to leave their name on the screen here, and I'm also going to leave a link to their Instagram or their YouTube channel if they have it in the description box below. Our first question was from vegan.ark, which is a local Arkansas page that promotes different vegan Instagrammers. It says, do you have to be vegan or is it just recommended? Here's the thing. I think it's a great opportunity if you would like to be vegan. If you've thought about it, I kind of played around with vegetarianism most of my teenage years, or I'd eat a ton of vegetables and vegetarian dishes, but I wouldn't, like if I ate meat, it'd be chicken. That's it. I pretty much don't eat a lot of red meat, and I have a sneaking suspicion that this might not be the first time I've dealt with Rocky Mountain spotted fever throughout my life, because as a child I really avoided a lot of red meat. It is not mandatory. I have a couple other friends on Instagram that they eat emu burgers, which is a bird. I see a lot of other people also, they'll use a lot of vegan products for dairy substitutes. But they'll still eat chicken, they'll still eat seafood, things like that. I think it really depends on where you're at. I am not a pushy vegan, and I'm not a perfect vegan. I am probably the most imperfect and terrible vegan to ever have claimed to be vegan. But I think it's a great opportunity. If you've been thinking about veganism, if you have wanted to work your way that way anyway, it's a great opportunity. It's also a great opportunity because when you have such a limited diet, opening yourself up to vegan recipes, even if you're not 100%, it gives you more to eat. It gives you more creativity. I really feel like it gives me more fulfillment in my diet to be able to make so many different things vegan. Also, I don't know if you guys have gandered through a grocery store. I happen to be working at one right now, and meat is crazy expensive, especially if you think about having to do seafood and chicken and trying to keep those omega-3s and omega-6s balanced, because fish is great for omega-3, but chicken is high in omega-6. I think it's just more of a headache than most people want to worry about. So I think the best thing to do is to open yourself up. Even if you don't go 100% plant-based or vegan, I think it's a great option. Our next question comes from Alpha Gal, and she asks, how do you deal with social situations that revolve around food? This one I have thankfully plenty of practice on since it's been 2 years. And I will say at the beginning, I just didn't eat with family. If we went out to eat, I'd sit there and I wouldn't eat anything because I was too scared. I'm really having to get over that, and the more I go out with people, the easier it gets. I will tell you, I'm that person that won't hesitate. If I know an event where we're going to be out is ahead of time, like we're going out to eat soon for Father's Day with my in-laws, and I'm going to ask them where they're thinking of going. That way I can look at the menu ahead of time and kind of have an idea of what I may or may not be able to eat. As far as family gatherings, I offer to bring my own food. On Memorial Day, for instance, I took vegan hot dogs to my mother-in-law and had her put them on the grill. The bread was vegan. and I just use vegan condiments, and it was really easy. Sometimes you just have to offer it, and you have to get comfortable with being like, hey, I'll help out. Here's what I can do. My mother-in-law really tries, and I appreciate her endlessly. I don't expect her to understand. I don't expect anybody to understand what, because this is not my only allergy. She also knows that Pringles are vegan, and so she knows chips. I give her different ideas, and I try to help her out with it. And I think if you go into a certain situation offering to do something to help them out with it, it makes it a little easier for them, because they're not freaking out and having to educate themselves or take time to try to understand. Don't expect other people to understand or cater to your needs. I think that's the number one problem I've seen with people lately. There was a person in our gluten-free vegan group, and she was venting about having to explain herself to people and why it's important for them to not cross-contaminate or to do this or that. And I'm like, sweetheart, these are your problems, not theirs. It's not your job to educate people. If people want to know, they will take the effort and the initiative to do that. I think taking responsibility for your part in that situation is all you can do, because you can only control yourself. So that's my number one advice for people with dealing with family situations or social situations, is either if you're out, go ahead of time, check menus, Google like crazy, because there's a ton of information. You can just Google what's vegan at TGI Fridays. Did you know that they have the Beyond Meat burger there? I tried it. I've made that same burger at home and I did not like it. I ate it there and I loved it. So there you go. And then you can get the sweet potato fries, and I usually leave the seasoning off because it has paprika. And then you can have water, and there you go. You're going to enjoy your meal a lot better if you're not sitting there for 15 minutes having a panic attack like I am, being like, oh my God, I don't know what I can eat. Being really honest, this has definitely caused me to have an eating disorder. I am scared to death of food. I'm scared to death of eating places or people making something or trying things. And it's really hard to overcome, and that's the way you do it though. It's by not isolating yourself. It's by trying to go out, understanding that you may suffer the consequences sometimes. If you accidentally order something wrong, and I ordered soup. This happened last year. I got sick. I was at work. I just wanted some soup. The normal restaurant that I knew had vegetable broth, they were out. I went to another Japanese restaurants. I went to one Japanese restaurant and thought, oh, this Japanese restaurant should probably make it the same way, just thinking that it would be traditional or whatever. My assumption got me really sick, because the other restaurant that I went to used beef broth. I got really sick, and sometimes you will pay those consequences, but you will learn those lessons. Our next question comes from Vegan Again, and it says, what challenges do you have with having a vegan diet and kids? I think this question will probably end up having a video of its own. Me and my husband actually sat down a year or so ago, and I'll link this video. It's really old, but as we get into it, it's about 25 minutes long, but as we get into it and I get my husband Nick talking about it, we really kind of opened up about why we don't expect our kids to be vegan. It is difficult because there's a lot of things that I just can't. I can't make spaghetti because I don't do well with tomatoes, and I can't have the ground beef. So it's not as easy as make spaghetti, just don't put beef in yours. I have to make a whole separate meal. The great thing about my kids is my kids are not very picky as long as it's food. Madison does not like broccoli, and she has texture issues with anything mushy like oatmeal. Ryland does not like the texture of potatoes, especially like roasted sweet potatoes. He's not a fan of those. And then Mark basically does not want to eat any vegetable. All of my kids enjoy fruit. Madison is obsessed with kiwis. Ryland doesn't like kiwis because a kid made fun of him at school, and I'm working with him on that. They like apples, oranges, bananas. They love smoothies. They love, Madison's favorite food was kimchi fried rice. They love taquitos. I need to put that on my list this week actually, because that sounds really good. My kids eat tons of vegan food, and that makes it easier. I think what's also easier is I don't expect them to be 100% vegan when they're with me, because my family's not vegan, school is not vegan, and I think giving them those options, letting them know that plant-based is the bottom tier, and then all those other junk foods, snack foods, if you eat meat, are up here, you know, and smaller. I think that's going to lead them to being able to make their own decision when they're older. And I know this because it's already happened. My youngest is severely lactose intolerant and has been since he was an infant. He got excited first day of kindergarten, and he decided to drink 2 cartons of chocolate cow's dairy milk, and he had a horrible stomach ache, and he was upset about it, but he learned his lesson and he never did it again. He can handle some cheese, but he has to learn his own limits, and I feel like that same kind of thing is going to happen as they get older and they start making those choices about how they want to eat. I think they're going to figure out that vegetables, maybe they'll not be like 100% vegan, but you know, leaner meats, portion control, things like that. I'm hoping that those things will click in by not forcing it and allowing them to try everything. And a lot of it makes it a lot easier is if you're at Mama's house, eat whatever you want. Then know when you come home, we're going to try that broccoli. We're going to eat vegetables. We're going to have kimchi fried rice. We're going to have tofu. We're going to have things like that. I will say, I do go a little heavy on the mock meats. They do love the meatballs from Gardein. Lots of barbecue sauce to cut out the oregano on that one, but they love it. The Boca chicken nuggets, my only complaint there is that they only make small bags, and I have to buy 2 or 3 at a time. That's really my only challenge with my kids, with me having a vegan diet, is when there is a meal, especially when Nick's home, if I'm making him a non-vegan meal, figuring out how I can make one for me, because if I'm doing it for him, I'm going to do it for the kids, because I don't want them to feel left out. Those are the only real challenges, because I have worked tirelessly since my kids were babies on eating vegetables, portion control, not necessarily controlling the portions, but like recognizing when they're done. It's not like me who's overweight and they need to, like, you know, have 1 cup of this, half cup, no. Just being like, all right, here's our plate, here's what we're eating, that's what we're eating, and we're done for a little bit. Allowing digestion between meals and not letting them snack all day long. See that heated moment on my face? Moving on. Now, my friend Tofu Tommy was next, and he asked a ton. He was my Q&A rock star. So thank you, Tommy, for asking all these great questions. They're mostly geared towards veganism, but I'm going to tie it into Alpha Gal as well. So his first question was about my best advice for transition. Now, this can apply to veganism. This can apply to if you've recently found out you're allergic to something, if you have Alpha Gal like me. Basically, if you want to transition to a vegan diet, a more plant-based diet, the number one thing to do is to look at recipes. I highly recommend joining Facebook groups. Gluten-free vegans on Facebook is probably my favorite group. I also encourage you, if you have Instagram, follow all the people. Follow all the food people. Hot for Food is awesome. Cheap Lazy Vegan. Lily Koi Hawaii is super whole foods, plant-based. I love her. And don't forget to just take things that you would normally eat and veganize them. If you guys have seen, one of my childhood favorites was mac and cheese and hot dogs, and Madison actually did a video, and I'll link it up here for you, and she actually made that vegan. It's pretty cool. So that's the majority of my tips for actually wanting to transition to a more plant-based diet or lifestyle, regardless. His next question was, what is the most challenging thing regarding my veganism? The most challenging thing for me is my hypoglycemia, food allergies, budget, and time. Those are all, and that's all regarding diet, vegan diet. As far as the lifestyle parts of it, I reuse my plastic bottles over and over and over again until they're just disgusting. And I try to stop buying. I've really tried to stop buying water bottles. That's kind of hard for me because I'm constantly drinking water. I actually need a new water bottle. I need to put that on my list. I'm trying to minimize the amount of plastic. I am working on a garden. If you guys would like to see that video too, I'll just link everything, guys. I'll link everything. I'm trying to grow some of my own food. That's been super fun. I am very passionate about cruelty-free makeup. Now, I actually do work in direct sales for a company that's cruelty-free, but it's not vegan. I do like to be upfront and honest about that because some of the products, one of the creams that we sell for shaving has lanolin in it. That sucks. But cruelty-free is my minimum. I think it's a great place to start. As we're getting back on our feet financially, I am trying to definitely invest in more vegan products. Like, for instance, my eyeliner is Kat Von D, but my foundation is e.l.f. It's $6. I tried so many. I tried a $36 vegan foundation that was vegan, cruelty-free, and it was terrible. My skin hated it. And so I went back to my $6 vegan e.l.f. foundation. But my mascara was $25. It's vegan from Tarte. I got a Pat McGrath palette, cruelty-free vegan. Very expensive, but it was an investment around tax time when we had the extra income to be able to do stuff with that. And I honestly feel like my challenges with my vegan diet are great lessons and stepping stones. I definitely have managed my lifestyle a lot better than I have my diet, but I feel like the few things that have changed recently, like my job and my hours working, have really helped me get better control under my diet. I do want to do a video in the future about me coming up with my own meal plan to where I can kind of cut out the, oh God, what are we going to eat this week type of thing, and oh, I don't want to spend 3 hours at the grocery store. It kind of cuts that down. I have been using Kroger ClickList a lot, which has really helped. I guess I'm going into how I'm combating these challenges. I told this story to somebody at work earlier, and I was watching the Supreme Banana on YouTube. I absolutely love her personality. But I literally cried the other day because I was watching her eat a Big Zac and fries and buffalo wings that she got through a drive-through, a fast food drive-through in where she lives in California. I literally cried because there are so many amazing things that are affordable to these people in California that they can just go through a drive-through. I can't, the nearest fast food vegan food truck is actually an hour away. And so I don't really have access to quick. It's like, if I want some vegan mozzarella sticks, I gotta make them. And I don't have time for that. So I guess I can end the challenges with saying, I've got all the challenges, but I'm trying to do the best I can every day. His next question was, how do you handle family? Not well. Let me put it this way. I don't really, I'm kind of a, let me put it this way, kind of a hermit. I don't really talk to them all the time. It's not because of food, really. It's just really hard for me because I'm busy. I have 3 kids. I have my job. I actually technically have 2 jobs, plus YouTube, plus a blog. And I feel like with family, I just get tired of explaining it, and I don't expect them to understand. I have one family member in particular that really doesn't understand, and it used to get under my skin a lot because that person would offer food and I'm like, I'm allergic. Not just like, achoo. It's like I will be on the floor dying within 2 So basically, like with family, I just quit explaining it, and I just do what I do. I just quit explaining myself to people. It's my responsibility to keep up with my issues, not them. So, what is my favorite food and recipe? All the food that doesn't kill me. That's basically it. I have been obsessed with my pancakes that I made. Those are awesome. I love granola. Let's just do this by breakfast. Tofu scrambles, hash browns, Pillsbury croissants are accidentally vegan because they don't use real butter, which is scary but delicious at the same time. Lunch, I like doing salads, spring rolls, homemade sushi. I've been using the soy butler curls and making like a chicken salad out of them and putting them in bread. That's awesome. I also learned how to make pinwheels at work, which are where you take like lunch meat, cheese, lettuce, tomato, cream cheese, and stuff like that, and you roll them. I have not had the ability to veganize them yet because the store that I went to that had vegan lunch meat destroyed everything. I was vlogging that day, and I can insert a clip here. Okay, you guys remember how I said that I was recovering from my anxiety issues and trying to be brave. Go to the grocery store. Because I've been putting it off for days. And then I get there and I didn't film anything in there because I got all my produce. I even got a papaya. I've never had a papaya, but I wanted to try it, and it was a small one, so I was like, hey, let's give it a shot. They destroyed my entire health food section at my local Kroger's. I am so upset. I literally was walking around panicking because I could not find canned lentils. I was so upset. The poor man walked right by me, and he was like, hey, can I help you find anything? And I'm like, I don't know. I said, everything's a mess. I can't find anything. I said, I feel like I'm about to have a panic attack because I said, like, to this stranger, I'm about to have a panic attack because I can't find anything. Oh my God. And he's like, I know, it's such a mess. It'll be okay. Let me know if you want me to help you find something. And I'm like, it's okay. Because by that time, I had already decided I'm just leaving. I'm really mad at Kroger's for making me do what I have to do. Now, I probably have to go to Walmart. And I hate going to Walmart. Whoosah. It's okay. I will be fine. I will find my lentils and all my other groceries somewhere else. I mean, guys, I don't know if you know, like, I am holding back tears. That's when you know you have an anxiety problem. When you go to the store and you can't find lentils and you nearly have a mental breakdown. And I was having a panic attack because literally they destroyed everything and they don't have it right now. So I can't try to veganize that, although I'd love to. And I'm hopefully going to get the opportunity to do a video about that. It might have to wait till the next time I'm able to go to Whole Foods, though. Number one food I hate, though. The number one food that I hate that's vegan is green juice. I try to be that good, healthy vegan, and I try to buy it because we don't have a juicer. We used to before the tornado, but I don't have a juicer of my own, and so I try to be that healthy, awesome vegan that drinks the green juice, but it makes me feel like vomiting. It is just absolutely the most disgusting thing I've ever tried to put in my body. And that's saying something, guys. I've literally, when I was paleo, I tried a lot of stuff. And green juice I can't do green juice. And then his last question was, what are the goals for the next 6 months in regards to like life, family, career, YouTube? I really want to say the goals in the next 6 months are really trying to get a good home schedule with my kids. I'm going to be working on my meal plan to help streamline the food, cut down costs, and make it easier on us as a huge family trying to juggle so many food issues. As far as my career, I did just start a new job I'm working in a deli bakery for a local grocery store. I absolutely love it. I don't have any problems with any of the people so far. Everybody's been absolutely lovely, and I'm really appreciative of that after dealing with such a horrific experience at my last job. I love working with food. It might sound crazy to enjoy making sandwiches or pinwheels or salads or, baking croissants or baking breads or something like that, but I absolutely love it, and I think it's because I love food, and that's where my generosity, where my compassion comes from. I love making food for people and making people happy through food. That's why I started my original blog, The Common Sense Cook, because it was my therapy, and it's where I found that after going through such a cynical time after the tornado, like I was in such a bad place, and it brought me back to life. And I really say that food is a passion of mine, and that's why I don't want to discourage anybody from not eating anything. I'm just like, do whatever you think is best. That's why I'm not hardcore vegan. I'm so imperfect, and I feel like all I can do in this next 6 months is work towards learning more about food, bringing you guys better recipes. I'm super excited about that aspect of my career, helping with my YouTube. As far as YouTube, I don't know where I'm going with my YouTube channel right now. I'm kind of just throwing what we're doing out there. I'm keeping up with a few things, like I'm doing this update. I have been vlogging, but I haven't really been uploading because it seems like something happens. Yesterday I was gonna vlog what my family ate in a day, but I ended up getting a migraine and took a 4-hour nap, so we didn't really eat much yesterday. If you have any suggestions of what you would like to see, and this honestly gives me some good ideas. I think I am going to try to do the what my family eats in a day. That can kind of show you, and I try to keep this channel 100% vegan, but I'm really thinking about actually opening the curtains a little bit and showing you a little bit more of exactly what we do and what we eat. I think that will just open the doors up for better conversation with people who struggle. It's taking the shame away from not being a perfect vegan, because I think when we take the guilt and the shame away, we're able to be more creative, and we're able to troubleshoot and figure out what our issues are, and without feeling like we're going to be condemned, criticized, called rapists, murderers, for contributing to the meat industry or the dairy industry. Like, opening up that conversation in a safe place for that. And that's what I've always wanted this channel to be. And I think those are kind of the goals, but if you have some things that you would like to see, I'm going to continue doing some yoga, some more workout videos. I'm thinking about sitting down and actually like writing out the different ideas and trying to schedule those out, so definitely leave me a comment below if you'd like to. You guys know that you can find me on Instagram. I am trying to do Instagram stories a little more often. Facebook, Pinterest. You can email me, it's in the description box below, and I'm happy to hear from you. I just want to tell you to end this video on a positive note that no matter what your challenge is, whether it's Rocky Mountain spotted fever, an autoimmune disease, alpha-gal, food allergies, you're not able to be perfectly vegan or perfectly this, that, the other, just know that each day is a new day. It's a great day to try again. It's choice by choice, and that no matter what, you have to love yourself and forgive yourself regardless of what the situation is. And I think if you do that, you're going to find yourself doing better and better, even if it takes you a little longer than most people. I love you guys endlessly, and I hope you know that. I'm always going to encourage you to go work hard and eat kind, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.
In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through?